Hello, Barkley Brookers. So our story this week is called Sitting Ducks. It's by Michael Bedard. So the word sitting duck means like an easy target, like you have nowhere to go. You're kind of trapped. And the story is about sitting ducks literally in the beginning, but it is also about sitting ducks, and it's about sitting ducks that are not ducks. And you'll see, this is one of my favorite stories in the whole entire library. And of course, it's, well, not of course, but it's also about alligators. Day after day, a steady supply of ducks rolled off the assembly line at the colossal duck factory. Alligators pushed the buttons and pulled the levers that kept the machines humming, while conveyor belts moved the ducks through the factory. Finally, the ducks were loaded onto trucks for their journey to the city. Rarely did anything go wrong. Here's the little duck eggs coming through, and then they come and they get hatched. And you can see the conveyor belt going. There's alligators on the towers and alligators operating the machines. But one day, an egg came through the incubation chamber unhatched. It rolled off the assembly line and fell down into the shadowy darkness below. The egg landed with a loud crack on the factory floor. Dazed by this rude introduction to the world, a little duck emerged and surveyed his strange surroundings. There's the ducks and the little egg rolling off. There he is. He wandered through the forest of machinery, awed by its size and dazzled by its beauty. The next thing he knew, the little duck came face to face with one of the worker alligators, who was very surprised to see a duck wandering freely about the factory. Instead of returning the little duck to the assembly line, the alligator stuffed him into his lunch pail. And left the factory. Okay, so these things here, these are called time cards. And there are some different jobs where they actually still use time cards. This is the clock. And there's another saying about being on the clock and punching in and punching out. And that's an actual thing that people still do. And so what they do is when they get to work in the morning, they take their card out of their slot with their name, and they put it into a slot in the clock, and it stamps it or punches it with a time, and that tells what time they got to work, so the boss can see if they were late. And then when they leave, they take their card again and they put it into the clock, and they push it down, and the clock stamps it again, and it tells the time that they left work that day. And so now the boss knows how many hours they worked, so knows how much to pay him, knows if they left work early, knows if they stayed late, worked overtime. Tells kind of a little bit about their day. When the little duck emerged from the lunch pail, he found himself in a nicely decorated apartment. The alligator acted friendly, but all the while he was thinking what a delicious meal the duck would make when properly fattened. See his alligator art on the wall behind him. Each day when the alligator went off to work, the little duck was left by himself with a large supply of tasty snacks. The days were long and lonely. At night, the little duck was so delighted to see his big friend that he danced madly about the apartment. At first, the alligator was bewildered by this weird welcome, but soon he joined in the crazy dance. Tasty snacks, remember? He's trying to fatten him up, right? Remember, like when we read Hansel and Gretel, right? As their friendship grew and grew, the alligator thought less and less about eating the little duck. They even tried going out together, but it proved to be very awkward. Today's special is duck soup. That alligator wants to eat him. One night, while the alligator worked late at the factory, the little duck pondered the world outside his window. The alligator had warned him never to venture out alone, but the duck's curiosity got the best of him. He just had to sneak away and explore the streets below. Farther and farther the little duck roamed until he was hopelessly lost and very scared. Rounding a corner, the little duck came upon a brightly lit diner. His heart leapt when he saw another duck inside. He rushed in and hopped up onto a stool. "Boy, am I glad to see you," said the little duck breathlessly. "Do you have anything good to eat?" "Oh, yes," said the waiter duck. If you look up top, you get a little clue. It says Decoy Cafe. So if you know anything about the word decoy, you would know that something is going on here. And if you don't know what decoy means, I might give you a pause here. You could pause the video right now and you could go look it up. You could specifically look up what does a decoy mean, specifically related to ducks. Up popped a huge alligator from behind the counter. "We certainly do." The little duck surely would have ended up in a stew if his alligator friend had not arrived just in time to rescue him. There he is, sitting on a plate with an apple in his mouth. If you had stopped the video to go and look up what a decoy is like a false front, like to trick you. Something that looks like something else, a decoy. Shaken and sleepless from their frightening experience, the duck and the alligator lay awake talking. "I guess I owe you an explanation," said the alligator, and he went on to tell the terrible truth. "After the ducks are hatched at the factory, they are shipped to a part of the city called Ducktown. There they eat and eat until they grow so fat they can't fly away. Eventually, I'm afraid they end up as a main course in our favorite restaurants." "Ducks can fly?" said the little duck. The alligator nodded. The duck was quiet for a while, and then he asked, "Will you take me to Ducktown? I have a plan." The next day, the alligator took the little duck to the edge of Ducktown. It was very difficult for them to say goodbye. "Don't worry," said the duck. "It's better this way. Trust me." The little duck wasted no time in spreading the news. At first, nobody would believe his story about the alligators. They thought he was just a troublemaker. But when the little ducks showed them the menu from the Decoy Cafe, the ducks were stunned. "Listen," said the little duck. "This is what we have to do." There's Ducktown. Drink, fatten up, eat a lot, stuff a duck. He told the ducks that if they exercised vigorously, they would lose weight and become strong. And then they would be able to fly south, where they would be free and safe from the alligators. There they are, exercising. Fly south and be free from alligators, huh? Soon the sky was filled with flying ducks. After some practice, they were ready to fly south just as ducks are supposed to do. When the alligators looked up and saw their delicious ducks flying away, they were very angry, all except for one alligator, who was very sad. The alligator was sure he would never see his little friend again. But suddenly the duck burst into the apartment with 2 tickets in his hand. "I couldn't leave without you." And so together, they flew south. There he is coming in with his tickets. And look carefully. Do you see the little duck? Wearing an alligator costume. The ducks followed the sun to a beautiful tropical island. They were thrilled to find their little hero waiting for them, but they were very nervous about having an alligator in their midst. They needn't have worried, though. Mostly the alligator passed the time dreaming about chicken. Life was good at the Flapping Arms Seaside Resort. And that is the end of the story. Do you see what he's floating around in there? Have a good week, my friends.